Hi everyone, my name is Shani and today I'll be doing a tutorial on how to take a regular photo from your own phone camera and turning it into a beautiful Instagram picture. So let's start. I took this photo from my phone with using the timer camera app on Android just because it lets you choose the time intervals and burst options, which is really cool and helpful so you don't have to do the photo a million times back and forth, back and forth. I chose this white background because I like things to be clean behind me, especially when I use beautiful, colorful leggings like these. And especially since I want to make myself the subject of the photo, which you do if you're doing a yoga photo for Instagram. So I did this. I chose a relatively easy pose and made it a little bit more special. As you can see, I put my hand on my leg and I did the pointy finger thing, and I added a small candle on the side just to make things a little bit more unique and more me-like. But everyone has their own signature and it's fun to play with. What I did, I placed the phone from the bottom looking a little bit more up just because it makes me look more elongated, and that's how I usually do it with my subjects when I do professional photography. This is my photography scene. As you can see, I used the yoga block, no tripod needed even, like you could place it on a book or whatever is available at home. And we're going back to the picture. Now I'm going to use Snapseed to edit it. So let's start. I start by straightening the picture just because I like it to be straight lines, especially if I'm staying on a straight floor. If you're staying on a mountain or like something vertical, then of course you can play with it either way you like. Next thing I'll go for is making the photo square just to see what I need to edit, because I don't want to over edit stuff that will later be cropped out, which is useless for my time and energy. So I take a blank space above me and a tiny bit blank space under, and I saw that the picture wasn't completely straight, so I straightened it again. You can go back and forth until you're feeling that it's awesome. Next thing I do is choose the healing function. The healing function basically wipes out stuff from what it sees on its side. So, for example, the reason I chose the white wall is because it's solid and it's more easy for the app to see, like, this is white. I want you to wipe out the mirror in the same white. So I just go over back and forth with my finger until it's completely blanked out. This is why I wouldn't use like a wall with shelves or sofa or anything. If you want to wipe them out, it will be very hard for the healing function to wipe out with many things behind you. So this is done. Now I have a beautiful white wall behind me. And the next thing I'm going to do once it's done, which takes a little bit of time, don't worry, is go to the tune image. Here I just want to make the photo shine a little bit using the brightness, turning it a little bit more up. I thought about playing with the contrast, but then eventually didn't. And so I went to the saturation. I took it a little bit down. The saturation is what makes the photo more orangey, but Instagram does that automatically once you upload the photos. So I take that a little bit lower so I don't have to play with it once I upload it back up. I work with the highlights. I take it a little bit higher, and I take the shadows also a little bit higher, just because the photo was taken in normal daylight and it was a little bit dark. So I wanted everything like to be a little bit more shiny and popping up. Next thing I do is choose the selective tool. The selective tool lets you just place a finger on an area where you want to edit alone, and as you can see, if you take the other finger on the screen, it shows you where it edits, where the edit space is. So at first I took it to the right on the brightness option. Then you take it up or down to choose what kind of structure you want to do, contrast, anything. So I played, of course, with the brightness on my hair and everything just because I don't want to make it too dark. Now I went to the legging and I chose the contrast to be a little bit, I played high or low. Eventually I chose low just because it looks better. I don't do it like with a tune image on everything because some parts are more highlighted than others and some parts I want to be more visible than others, and this is why this tool is so helpful. So I play with it with the brightness and structure and contrast. Just anyway that looks pretty for you. I just clicked with the other finger again so you can see this is like the area that is choosing. If it's too much, then you can take the other finger that's on the screen and move it a little bit closer toward the icon so it'll be smaller, or the other way around outside so it will be bigger. This is basically how you play with this function, which is very helpful to choose like specific areas and then it does the work for you. I chose this area to heighten and brighten a little bit more, just because it's more shadowed and I wanted the photo to be more or less alike. So this is the before, this is after, and now I'm going to play a little bit more. I want to use the structure, the details function. Why? I specifically like having myself more sharpened. So structure I go more, sharpening I do a tiny bit less, just because the sharpening it makes it a little bit worse. Like it sharpens but a little bit weird. So structure will make you sharpen beautifully, and sharpening is just like the icing on the cake. Okay, so we got that. Awesome. Next thing we'll do is I want to go to brush function. Why I want to do that? I want to use dodge and burn just to make my leggings a little bit, again, more shiny, but the dodge and burn option makes them really pop. So I just go over with my finger, I go like on the 5 scale because I don't want to overdo it and make the leggings shine like and be burned. So I chose the eye function just to show you where it touched, and as you can see, ta-da! More shine and more beauty. Before, after, what I want to do next. So I want to play with it a little bit more, and what I want to do now is I want to give it a little bit more pinkish atmosphere. So I accidentally pressed the black and white, and I'm going to the white balance. In the white balance, you choose tilt, and to the right is pinkish, left is greenish. So obviously with these leggings and the atmosphere, I want it to be a little more pink, and that's what I chose, just a tiny bit. Last thing we'll do is HDR escape, which makes everything, as you can see, a lot sharper. So I didn't want to be crazy sharp, but of course I wanted to be sharper. So I take the HDR escape a little bit down until I see like it's sharp but normal, not crazy sharp, shiny. And that's it. That's the after. And that's the before. I hope this was helpful to you. Have a lovely day.